Good evening, everyone. Welcome to, good evening. Welcome to the regular board meeting for Adelanto Elementary School District. Today is Tuesday, September the 26th, 2023. Call to order. The time is 5:30. Moving on to section 1.03, roll call and quorum establishment. Ms. LeVey, please call.
Yes, Madam President. Trustee Benz,
Present.
Trustee Turner,
Turner present.
Trustee Soto,
Soto present.
Trustee Webster,
Webster present.
Trustee La French.
Love French present. At this time, before we begin, I would like to ask that we observe a moment of silence for two of our children that were in a tragic accident. From Melva Davis, we have Aiden Ortiz. And from Colombia, we have Ronald Thomas. We'd like to ask for a moment of silence for our children that have passed. Thank you. Moving on to section 1.04, Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to section 2, adoption of the agenda. Section 2.01, Ms. LeVey, do we have any proposed additions, deletions, and adjustments in the order of business?
Madam President, we do. We are going to be pulling item 13.23 and bringing it back at a later date.
Thank you. Section 2.02, adoption of the agenda. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt the agenda with the exception of 13.23.
Trustee Soto, I motion that we adopt the agenda.
Trustee Turner, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Soto, aye.
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
Trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
Trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
Trustee La French.
Love French, I motion passed 5-0. Moving on to section 3, special recognitions. Mr. Kraus.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. At this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Dwizon and I to come out to the front of the dais, and we'd like to recognize our 15-year and 20-year employees.
Yes, okay. Good evening, everyone. So we would like to take this opportunity to honor our colleagues who are celebrating their 15th anniversary with the district this evening. Followed by that, we will have our 20-year recipients. So first we have Sean Betancourt, Campus Security Assistant, Mesa Linda Middle School. We have Jacqueline De Silva, Paraprofessional, West Creek. Marnie Durgin, Teacher, El Mirage. We have Ashley Gudino, Teacher, Morgan Kincaid. I'm like, I was like, I know I've seen her. We have Vanessa Kucha, Teacher, Mesa Linda Middle School. We have Asacia Lopez, Teacher, Morgan Kincaid. Kelly Martinez, Paraprofessional 2, Ted Vick. Sylvia Ochoa, Food Service Worker 2, Child Nutrition Services. Maria Rivera, Teacher, Eagle Ranch. Abigail Serena, Teacher, Donald Braddock Elementary. Catherine Turry, Teacher, Donald Braddock Elementary. Tiffany Woodward, Teacher, Morgan Kincaid. Greg Wurst, Instructional Technology Liaison, IT/Academic Services. So at this time, this is our 15-year recipients board. If we could please come for a picture in the front, and while we're taking that picture, let's give them a round of applause. All right, now it is an honor to celebrate our 20th anniversary of employment for the following employees. Roque Calles, Lead Custodian, Westside Park. Joanne Fletcher, Teacher, Westside Park. Sarah Goose, Teacher, Mesa Linda Middle School. Leah Johnson, Teacher, Melva Davis Academy of Excellence. Gail Keefe, Teacher, George Vappa. Hari Matisek, Campus Security Assistant, Mesa Linda Middle School. Lori Rhodes, Teacher, Melva Davis Academy of Excellence. Lupe Smith, Food Services Worker 1, Child Nutrition Services. Michael Smith, Teacher, Mesa Linda Middle School. Tamara Smith, teacher George Vappa. Ann Thorup, teacher Westside Park. Marcella Trope, paraprofessional 2, Melva Davis Academy of Excellence. So at this time, if our Board of Trustees would come forward for a picture with our 20th anniversary employees, and another round of applause for them.
Thank you, trustees. Would anyone like to make a comment?
All right, well, because I just start things off. I want to say thank you so much for all you do for our kids. They do appreciate the steadiness of the fact that you're there and they can count on you and they know you'll be there. And we really do appreciate your dedication to our district. Thank you.
I too wanted to echo the sentiments of trustee Benz. I want to congratulate you guys for your years of service to our school district. You guys are the backbone of our school district, and so we thank you for your service. Thank you.
And I concur with my fellow trustees. Longevity means a lot to the district. It means a lot to our community. It means a lot to our students. And, you know, to see as many of you with the district, our family, for the number of years, it means a lot. And thank you for all you do every day, servicing our kids from in the classroom to making sure the classrooms are clean, to feeding our students every day. We appreciate you and thank you so much.
I want to say thank you to all of the individuals honored tonight. This is a massive achievement, not only for you, but for us celebrating you. Employees who have the longevity in a district get the privilege of seeing families grow, brothers, sisters, parents, etc. And that is being part of a village. So I do want to extend my thank yous to everyone for being part of our village and our family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to section 4, cabinet reports. Mr. Kraus.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, members of the community here with us this evening. This is a tough night for myself and all of us on this dais. Our family, our AESD family, has been affected greatly. As you heard earlier, the passing of Ronell Thomas from Columbia Middle School, an 8th grader, and Aiden Ortiz, a 6th grader at Melva Davis Academy of Excellence, all within a 48-hour time frame from Sunday to Monday morning. It's never easy to hear whether it's a staff member or a student of our family that has been affected by death. These tragic incidents are weighing heavy on all of our hearts. Our thoughts and prayers have been with the families, both of these students. Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers as we move forward and work on healing from these events. For the general public out there that might be listening, I implore you to please slow down. Slow down. If you see students or children around, you see buses with their stop signs out, don't try to pass them. Please follow the law. You see students on sidewalks, slow down. Whether it's early in the morning when we're picking up our students, or they're walking to our schools, in the afternoon when they're walking home or getting picked up by parents or riding our buses. In coordination with the city of Adelanto, Mayor Gabriel Reyes has reached out to us. We have a joint meeting set up for next week with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department staff, city of Adelanto staff, to examine how we can do whatever we can do to ensure the safety of our streets in Adelanto for all of our students and for those that are out there driving our streets. We want to make sure that everyone is safe and responsible as they go to work, go to school, wherever they go. So we will be looking at that to examine all of our crosswalks in the city, all of our signage in the city, all of our bus stops in the city, and anything else that we can do to really ensure education of the public on how they can help us, again, by slowing down. We have large streets such as Seneca, Mojave. They are very wide. We do have students that cross across them. We encourage all of our students and family to use the crosswalks as well. But even then, in a crosswalk, I have seen people fly through in Adelanto and in Victorville, and without any regard for the safety of the people going through the crosswalks. So again, please have a talk with your family about safety, driving safety, school safety around our schools. It is, again, unfortunate that I even have to talk about this tonight. It has weighed heavily on our entire family. And I know the Columbia family is grieving. We have sent counselors out to Columbia. We've sent counselors out to Melva Davis. Sent counselors out to our other schools that there were family members at. This evening, we have the principal of Melva Davis with us this evening. I know she's grieving with her family over there as well at Melva Davis Academy. And we send our condolences to all of our staff as well, because it hits them hard when something like this happens. But again, we will move forward. We will heal together, and we will do everything we can to ensure the safety of all of our staff and students and our community as we move forward. So I appreciate the moment of silence this evening that all of you participated in it. It really means a lot to the family. They wanted to be here, but I can tell you that they are watching on YouTube and have requested a copy of the YouTube video. It means a lot to them that we are there for them as well. And at this time, we're not aware of any services, but we'll be sure to let our entire AESD family know when we are aware of any services for either one of these people that have passed. And with that, Madam President, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Dwizon, who will give us an update on academic services.
Thank you, Mr. Kraus. Good evening, President Love French, Board of Trustees, our AESD staff, families, and community. First, I'd like to offer my condolences and prayers to the families of our two students who passed away, and to our staff affected by the loss of these two precious lives. I do want to say that our district does offer counseling and outside supports and resources for those affected by the tragedies, including ongoing grief and the loss that you have, and the opportunity to process feelings. I personally would like to thank, on behalf of our board and superintendent and myself, our district team members, classified and certificated, who stepped up to lend an extra hand in several different capacities, whether to counsel, drop what they were doing, go cover a team member, check in with each other, and also just lend a listening ear. And I'm proud of the district to serve here as we've come together as a family. Just a couple of updates from academic services. I do want to say if you are in need of those services, please feel free to reach out to academic services and we'd be happy to guide you. Last week, we had our state visit from CDE visiting our early support block grant schools. El Mirage, Adelanto, Westside Park, each school was able to highlight their progress in early literacy, their next steps, and what they're doing to sustain their growth in those areas. The systems and procedures in early literacy, such as specific routines and attention to progress monitoring and data, were on full display. I'd like to thank our leaders, Ms. Pantoja, Dr. Ward, and Mr. Rizzo for their leadership and the hard work of their staff on these visits to show what they're doing. We're looking forward to taking what they've learned, their progress, and replicating that work across our district to strengthen our literacy efforts. This past Friday, we held an esports meeting with all 3 middle schools. So we're looking forward to, esports is a form of competitive gaming. Esports lately, the last several years have been growing in popularity, and there are even college scholarships that are offered for those competitive sports in colleges. So we're looking forward to visiting neighboring districts and also offering these at our 3 middle schools. So I look forward to sharing that as we go on. This evening, you'll also see an item offering AYA enrichment break program for our students. This is being funded through our Expanded Learning Opportunity Fund, which provides funding for expanded learning outside of the school year. It's going to focus and have an emphasis on enrichment, career-oriented, social-emotional knowledge. In addition to receiving these funds, we must provide an additional 30 days outside of the school year for 9 hours each day of those days. So we already offer summer school for about 17 of those days, and we want to provide October, winter, and spring break extended opportunities. If approved tonight, any student can sign up with your local school's AYA, and it's open to any student. Additional tutoring opportunities are going to be coordinated with our school leaders to support this program. On October 4th, next Wednesday, we look forward to celebrating our schools at the County PBIS Awards recognition. That's from 5 to 7. It'll be held in Apple Valley. And then a couple highlights from human resources. So our certificated human resources, which I'm happy to support, attended HR 101, an employment basics workshop. They attended the esports meeting to coordinate credentials of new electives that may be offered. They attended second negotiation sessions and processed, they have 135 current substitute teachers are actively on our sub list and another 22 that are currently in progress. And with that, that concludes for academic services.
Thank you. Moving on to section 5. Staff reports and presentations, Mr. Kraus.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, we'd like to call up Mr. Mark Forbes from Mesa Linda Middle School, and he and his students will be presenting this evening on some great things happening at Mesa Linda Middle School. I know you guys are nervous, but you can do it. I see the students there, but they can do it. So Mr. Forbes, I'd like to turn it over to you at this time.
Thank you. Greetings, Madam President, Board of Trustees, Mr. Kraus, Dr. Dwyer, and fellow community members of Adelanto School District. My name is Mark Forbes, and it is my pleasure to share a few of the exciting opportunities that Ms. Turnipseed and I have witnessed at Mesa Linda Middle School. For example, we've added boys volleyball and brought back boys and girls cheerleading. Ms. T has offered to do study hall for all student athletes to keep their grades in check. This Sunday, Mr. Cruz is taking our student athletes to UCLA for a game, and then they're gonna have a meet and greet with the UCLA athletes after the game. Our school is supporting student excellence through discounts through ASB events based on grades and behavior. We are so proud of our leadership the leadership that our teachers have offered to make this happen. As administrators, we do see the growth in our students in making better decisions, being proactive, and avoiding unnecessary conflict. Another amazing opportunity that our students have had was to see the foundations of America in real life. In June, one of our teachers took a group of 10 students to Washington, D.C. to visit many different museums and government structures. I would like to introduce our ASB and Travel Club Director, Miss Letitia Cummings, who has brought 4 of our amazing students that had the pleasure of going on this trip. Miss Cummings?
Thank you, Mr. Forbes. Good evening, board. Thank you. Next slide, please. I am Ms. Cummings. I am the ASD director at Mesa Linda Middle School, and I'm so excited to be here tonight. We have some amazing photos to show you, but first I would like to go to the next slide, please, because I want to start with a story. 18 years ago, I was an 8th grader in Corona Norco Unified School District, and I went to DC with my class. 18 years later, I would not have realized that I would be the teacher in charge and be spending 10 hours on a plane delay in Ontario Airport with 8 children.
Wow.
By myself. We ended up sleeping on the floor in Ontario Airport because we could not check in until 4 a.m., but we did make it. Next slide, please. Some of our amazing students are here tonight. I have Alex, Juan, and Candace. Julian could not be here tonight. He unfortunately thinks he might have COVID, and I told him, do not come get us sick, please. So if Alex, Candace, and Juan can come on up, they have selected photos that they would like to share with you guys about why they chose this as their favorite photo from the trip. Alex, you're gonna go first. Come on. You got this. You pull it up. Pull out her notes.
I chose this picture because it has the other 2 groups we met, one from Tennessee and the other from Texas, and it was amazing just being all together outside the Capitol before we got to tour the inside.
Next up, we have Juan. You want me to talk? You got this? Okay. Juan's a little nervous. His is actually the video. I'm not sure if we can play it, but the video shows the cars driving by, and we learned on this trip that if there's an ambulance with the cars, it means the president was in it. So we saw 2, and one time we actually did get to see the ambulance, and so we got to see basically the president in his cars as they drove by. So I'm unsure if the video can play, but if it does, that'd be awesome. Thank you. So this was actually our second time seeing, and so there was no ambulance for this one. So we think it was either the vice president, it could have been Mrs. Biden. But the time earlier we saw, we actually got to see the president in his car. So that was why Juan chose this photo. Thank you, Juan. And last but not least is our vice president of ASB as well, Candace.
Okay, so I chose the White House picture as my photo because it was my favorite part of the trip, going to see like the actual White House and not just photos of it. And
a thing about the White House photo too is we actually missed that part because of our 10-hour delay. We were supposed to land, go right there, but because of our delay, we got picked up late. The first thing we did when we landed in DC was go to a mall. I know every teenager's dream, but we missed the White House. So our tour director was so great that he fit it into our schedule the last day so that we could still see the White House, Black Lives Matter Square, Lafayette Square. So that was a great opportunity because, like as Candace said, to actually see the White House in person rather than just in photos was great since we had to miss that because of our 10-hour delay. Yeah. Next slide, please. And some other photos of the Smithsonian's. We got to see Lincoln Center, the Post Stamp Museum. The kids thought it was crazy that the Post Stamp Museum was going to be their favorite, but it's postage stamps from our entire history. And they actually have a baseball one as well. And the photo there in the bottom right is the kids touching the Washington Monument. And they just felt like it was a great bonding moment to actually finally get to see that because that was our last day as well. So they saw it all throughout DC. We kept driving past it, and finally on the last day, they got to all go and actually touch the Washington Monument together as one last hurrah before we left. And just some more photos of our beautiful memorials, World War II Memorial. We have, again, the Postal Museum and then the Washington Monument from afar. Treasury Building that was at Black Lives Matter Square. We also have the Treasury Department that we got to see, and fountains, the reflection pool where MLK stood and gave his I Have a Dream speech. We have a promo video. I don't want to take more time. It's basically just a promo video of all the pictures I showed you guys. But our trip this summer, 2024, the kids voted, and they voted to do a duo city. We're going to Boston and New York. It's 2 days in Boston, 3 days in New York. I have 12 families signed up for tomorrow night information meeting on Zoom. Hopefully we can get to 20 because I don't want to be the only adult this year and having to be stuck in an airport. But before I close tonight, I actually want to invite my AESD president, Kerwin, up. He has an announcement about an upcoming event, and then I think we're good. You got this.
My name is Kerwin Kendall, and I am the ASB president at Mesa Linda. I just wanted to add to the amazing presentation about the travel club that this Thursday is our first dance of the Around the World theme, and we are excited to have any board members to come by. It's from 2:15 to 5 p.m. Thank you so much for your time.
All right.
Thank you again.
All right. Well, thank you very much. That was exciting. Sorry that you had to spend so much time in the airport. Ontario, you would think that is so small that it just goes out without a hitch, but I spent some time down there where they actually like drove you from Ontario to LAX, and then you still waited a couple of more hours down there. I was like, can I just get back to Victorville, really? Yes. But I do want to say before I turn it over to the my fellow trustees that is awesome. I wish to be able to do something like that. That is awesome that you guys were able to go and experience that. That is awesome.
So I got to go to Washington, DC for the first time as well, and I'm 52. So the fact that you went now, yeah, I'm a little jealous. I think it's great because I had to wait all this time to go. But I was thankful that I can go, and I think it's great that you all are working for a goal. It's a great example, and just keep on doing the great work. And also thank you for coming here and sharing. I know it's nerve-wracking, trust me, I know, to speak in front of grown-ups. So I'm proud. Thank you for sharing.
I too wanted to echo the sentiments as well. Thanks for coming. It's not easy, so I appreciate the bravery, the courage. Excellent presentation, Mr. Forbes, and look forward to seeing you guys grow as well. Thank you.
Wow. That seems like a very exciting trip. I do have to say thank you to Mr. Forbes and Mrs. Cummings for making this possible for these students. Far too often, we don't get to leave the monotony of every day and to see such sights. As a kid, I too am jealous with events. So I do want to say thank you for being with us tonight and sharing your experiences and allowing us an idea into what you went through. Thank you to our president of ASB. I do appreciate your invitation and I do hope to see you at the dance.
I too share my sentiments with my fellow trustees. It's always an honor to go on a trip, and I have to concur. I did not make that trip as an eighth grader. I think I went at 50, maybe 55. But it's always a great honor to go to our nation's capital. You learn so much every time you go. You see the history of this country, and it's exciting. You know, the monuments, the museums. So I'm happy that you got an opportunity to share that. Thank you, Mr. Forbes. Thank you, Ms. Cummings. And next year, hopefully, you will have some chaperones and that you don't have to spend that much time at the airport. I've been hearing great things at Mesa Linda this school year, and I'm really excited. And I will thank you, Ms. Topseed, and all the administrators and teachers at Mesa Linda. And those were honored for 20 years and 15 years. It's a pleasure to have you. You do some great work there, and you never give up. You never give up. So I appreciate that. I will be at that dance. ASB as president, I will definitely be there. I won't dance, but I'll be there. We dance a little different than the way you dance now. So keep having fun, keep learning, reach for the stars. The sky is a limit. It's nothing that you can't do. And so keep that in mind. When someone say you can't do it, look at the sky. Can you touch it? See if you could touch it. You can touch that ceiling, but you can't touch that sky. So keep up the good work. And again, thank you, administrators and teachers.
Thank you. I too want to say thank you to the administrators over at Mesa Linda because you guys put in a lot of work and you stay. And despite sometimes the things that are said about Mesa Linda, every time, I've been to Mesa Linda, I see respectful children. I see staff that are there. They're working hard. They're shuffling children around. Where are you? Asking questions. I think the last time I was there was a backpack on top of the building or something like that. And they were like, how did they get up there? And I was like, well, but it was somebody was going to get it down, but everything was still moving, it was moving smoothly. We were just all looking like, well, how did that get up there? But, somebody threw it up there, but it was like, you want to play double dutch, you want to do this, you want to do that, inviting, to go to dances and stuff. I really respect, administrators over at Mesa Linda for hanging on in there and, watching grow because tonight is a perfect example of, the students that you have over there and what you bring to the table to build with your students. Thank you. Okay, moving on to section 6, which is closed session declaration. We'll be taking items 6.02 through 6.04 into closed session. Section 7, public testimony before closed session. I'll read the comment. The public comment period is administered by state law and is the point in the meeting set aside for members of the public to share their opinions with the board. Open meeting laws do not permit the board to engage in dialogue or answer questions. Any person who wishes to address the governing board on closed session agenda items must complete and submit an AESD speaker request form 5 minutes before the meeting is called to order. Public comments will only be taken on agenda items during the discussion of those items. The board values public comments, and although the Board of Trustees cannot take action or discuss items not on the agenda, the Board of Trustees listen carefully and appreciate input from the public. Additionally, a public speaker can be cut off for exceeding the allotted time or for willfully causing an actual disruption to the meeting. Before cutting a person off or removing someone, the board will give at least one clear warning. If you were cut off or warned last time, please consider that your warning. Individual speakers are allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each closed session agenda item. The board limits the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allotted for public presentations depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Mr. Kraus, do we have anyone from ADTA that would like to speak?
Yes, Madam President, we'd like to call Mr. Brian Hahn to the podium this evening.
Welcome, Mr. Hahn.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Madam President Love French, Trustee Webster, Trustee Turner, Trustee Benz, Trustee Soto, Superintendent Kraus, Dr. Doizan, esteemed colleagues, and our caring community members. I come before you this evening first to congratulate Mesa Linda. What we've seen tonight is just amazing. You know, last year, Mr. Forbes can attest, I spent several days trying to help sort out some issues over there. And all of your students, your performance, the teachers, wow. This is like a total turnaround. And it's exciting. It's exciting. And I can tell you, I have not spent one day at Mesa Linda this year. So that's a testament to that. But as I come before you this evening, we are mourning the loss of two of our rising stars in the Adelanto School District community, Aiden Ortiz and Brunel Thomas. The impact of their passing has shaken much of our community to its core. I can tell you, yesterday, we had teachers that were just trying to keep it together all day long. Students, as you know, you've sent counselors and the such to the sites and provided a lot of district support. And it's just been, the district support has been incredible, but the tragedy just devastating for us, both tragedies of two young people. And with tragedies, conversations are elicited. This tragedy has proven to be no different. Teachers have been talking about the speed at which some drivers drive down the community streets where our children walk. Why was the speed limit increased throughout many residential neighborhoods in Victorville from 40 miles per hour to 45 miles per hour? Now, we do know you don't control that, but we hope to have more and more conversations with our city leaders as well regarding these things. Do we have enough crossing guards for our bus stops? Where are the police when parents are making illegal U-turns in our parking lots and on the streets that access our school parking lots? Could we incorporate citizen patrols that are voluntary? Some school districts have them. While the questions rage on, the safety of our kids is the #1 concern and goal. Our children need to be safe at all times. I'll say it again. Our children need to be safe at all times. We hope the district will open up an ongoing dialogue with our Adelanto and Victorville mayors, councils, and the communities to ensure that we are moving swiftly to make all of our children safe. All elementary, all middle school, and all high school students. While making the safety of our students a top priority, there is no doubt that it has a much greater chance of being much more successful by retaining highly qualified teachers and recruiting highly qualified teachers for our students. We realize that this takes money. We believe that the $2.8 million of unrestricted funds takes funds away from our budget that could be used on recruiting and retaining the most highly qualified teachers for our students. Don't these children deserve them? Additionally, 1.9 million of unrestricted funds have been set aside for a camera project. How does this help us recruit and retain the most qualified of teachers? The Adelanto District Teachers Association would like to know how these approvals came about. And we would like to say that these expenditures of funds take away the opportunity for our district to recruit and retain the best and the brightest teachers for our well-deserving students. Now, I want to compare this to something that's currently going on, just to as a snapshot. We have some teachers that have been complaining that about a month ago, they were advised that workbooks for their students had arrived at the curriculum center. So they were excited. They were excited that these books had come. Well, they had been waiting. They were told that they had to count them first. They had to separate them out. They had to divide them among the teachers. Well, yesterday, the librarian from one particular school sent out an email to the entire staff stating that it will take probably about 2 more weeks to get these books delivered from the curriculum center. We find that most appalling, that our children are waiting for these materials. And we're talking about multi-million-dollar projects. Thank you for your time in providing ADTA with an opportunity to address our concerns this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Prouse, do we have a representative? CSEA?
I believe we have Miss Diane Lynn in the audience this evening to like to welcome her up to the podium.
Welcome. Ms. Lynn.
Good evening, Madam President LaFrench, trustees, Superintendent Kraus, Cabinet, Mr. Wison, all of our classified staff here tonight and our teachers. Welcome, those on Zoom and everyone else attending this meeting. First of all, we are truly devastated by the loss of these 2 students. And I just want to say that they are in our hearts, in our minds, and in our prayers. Also, I would like to thank all of those and congratulate the 10 and 15 and 20, excuse me, veterans who have come this far. You know, your dedication is truly appreciated. Also, I would like to say thank you to our negotiations team and also the district's negotiations team for working so hard this past month and coming to an agreement for our reclassification, which has been so long due. So thank you for that. This year, we are still celebrating the theme for our classified professionals. We are indispensable, inspiring, and invincible. We, as classified employees, have earned respect as educators and partners in the education community. More importantly, we have become recognized as the essential frontline workers who keep our schools up and running while making a difference in the lives of the students that we serve. we're looking forward to negotiations. We've kind of had a couple of the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to say it again. We really are looking forward to having a job classification compensation study. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Kraus, do we have any audience members here or in Zoom land?
Not for closed session, Madam President. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to section 8, recess to closed session. Trustees, can I get a motion to recess to closed session?
Benz, I motion that we move to closed session.
So do I second that motion.
Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Left French, I. Motion passed 5-0. The time is 6:20. Thank you. Welcome back. Reconvene for open session. Moving on to 9.01, call to order. Roll call and quorum establishment. Ms. LeVey, can you please take roll?
Trustee Benz,
Present.
trustee Turner,
Turner, present.
trustee Soto,
Soto present.
trustee Webster,
Webster, present.
trustee La French.
Left French, present. Quorum has been established. Moving on to section 10, closed session report. We have nothing to report out. Section 11, public testimony. Mr. Kraus, do we have any speakers for ADTA?
Yes, Madam President, we'd like to welcome Mr. Brian Hahn to the podium this evening. Good evening once again, Madam President.
Esteemed colleagues and our caring community members. My name is Brian Hahn, and I'm proudly serving as the Vice President of the Adelanto District Teachers Association. First of all, I want to acknowledge, and we do appreciate all of the hard work that the board, as well as Dr. Doizan, Dr. Kraus, everyone at the district office is doing to support teachers and our classified staff throughout the district and our students, of course. The issue that I wanted to address with you this evening relates to item 13.23, and that is the approval of administrative designees. And I just want to point out, we've mentioned this before multiple times, that CTA is highly encouraging us to communicate to our boards and our superintendent that this title should be recorded as teacher in charge. We would like those positions to be referenced as teacher in charge for all sites. That concludes my comments for this evening. I wish everyone a wonderful evening, a safe drive home. And once again, thank you for everything you do. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Mr. Kraus, do we have anyone for CSCA?
Mr. Snatcher, do we see anyone online raising their hand for CSCA?
Let me check. We do not.
Thank you, Manny. Appreciate it. No, Madam President, we do not have anyone for CSCA this evening.
Do we have anyone for the public, the audience members, or on Zoom land?
Yes, Madam President, we'd like to call Ms. Barrico to the podium this evening, please. And I do apologize, Ms. Barrico. I tried my best.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Margarita Barreco. I am the mother of Madison Jackson, who is a student at Mesa Linda Middle School. There were a lot of great things that were said about Mesa Linda earlier, and unfortunately, we have not had that experience. My daughter is a straight A student and an amazing athlete, and she has experienced mistreatment, bullying, retaliation from the staff at Mesa Linda. She recently got kicked off of the volleyball team due to trying out for the cheer team. I wanted to know, I came to the district to ask what the policy was for the sports participation as well as discipline. And unfortunately, I was not given that information. I did sit down with someone who tried to look up the policies with me. So it's not as if they didn't try to get those policies to me. However, we were not successful in getting that. When I went to the school and I spoke to Mr. Cruz, who happens to be not only the volleyball coach, but is also the counselor, also the athletic director, as well as the basketball coach. So being that he is allowed to have so many different titles, I was wondering why my daughter was being penalized for trying to be great, trying to excel in different sports. She even attempted to speak to the cheer coach in advance to ask if it would conflict with her volleyball team or schedule, because that is where her commitment lies. The cheer coach assured her that as long as she secures her position on the team, that she will excuse her from practices because cheer doesn't actually start until volleyball season is over. However, she was kicked off along with other students from the volleyball team for that purpose when they were never told what the expectations were in regards to that. When I spoke to Mr. Cruz, he explained to me, he had nothing but great things to say about my child, that, they're straight A's. He said she's a leader. He said that she's an amazing athlete. However, she did not speak to him first prior to trying out for the volleyball team the cheer team, and that is why he cut her. She did make the cheer team, as I'm expected her to. But I would like to know what the policy is for the sports participation, and also if it's, or why the principal, or what we can do in regards to be able to give the principal permission to override certain rules that the coach has made, due to the fact that it might be, it might be bullying, or it might be an unfair decision, because the principal, Mr. Forbes, informed me that the coach is in charge of controlling the team and he gets to make any final decisions. My daughter was also a part of the leadership, the ASB class, and was removed from the ASB as well, and is now being deprived of the travel group and things of that nature. She would have been sitting right here. She's an overachiever. And I just want to, express my concerns in regards to, instead of them encouraging her to be great and excel in different things, why she's being punished for that. I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'd like to welcome Ms. Jennifer Rader to the podium, or I believe she's on Zoom, Manny. She will be speaking as herself this evening.
Going to unmute right now. Please turn on your camera.
There it is. Okay. Hi. All right. Thank you for your time this evening. This is just, I wanted to clarify the difference between a teacher in charge and an administrative designee. It sounds like it could be bundled up into the same idea. It really is not. It's very important that we keep the designations separate because teacher in charge is covered under our contract, and we are still under the teacher's contract, protected by CTA, protected by all the levels of protection if there's something that happens while we're in the office, serving as the administration help for the day. Administrative designee does not carry with it that same protection. And there's also, it's in the contract as teacher in charge, and in the contract it carries in a few extra days and also a stipend of $6,000, which does not occur with the administrative designee. The important thing to understand is that this was created back in the day. It was created as a way for a teacher who is interested in becoming an administrator someday to sort of have a soft entry. Not a soft entry, I shouldn't say that. I mean, like she or he would shadow the administrator a few days and serve in a few extra days, maybe over break or before or after the regular school year, the 180 school year. And that's where their 6 days came from. And they would learn more about what it is to be an administrator. And then when the administrator stepped out for a reason or had a day of meetings or whatever, that person could be called upon to be in their office for the day. And that was really meant to be in a limited capacity. At some of our schools, at least one of our schools, one of the TICs is in there almost every single day. That's not really how TIC was designed. But the reason it was TIC and not administrative designees, because this is a teacher who is in charge, a teacher who is shadowing an administrator for the purposes of learning how to be an administrator. And that carries with it the $6,000 stipend. It carries with it the extra days of service. And when you use a different designation for that, you remove the protection for the teachers. So that's why it's very important that even though these roles are very, very necessary, we definitely need to have teachers that are in charge while the administrator has to be away, that we not confuse them with administrative designee, because they're two very different concepts. And that's why I just wanted to clarify why we're kind of making a big deal about it. Teacher in charge is in the contract, administrative designee is not. So thank you. Thank you for your time this evening. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
Next, we'd like to call Ms. Risa Brias to the podium this evening.
Thank you to the board and executive cabinet for having me. Tonight, I speak on the behalf of Assemblymember Juan Carrillo. And I'll have a hard time getting through it. Our district has experienced some of the most devastating losses that a school district can. We lost Ronell Thomas and Aiden Ortiz. And it's immeasurable to lose children so young. And on the behalf of the assembly member, I hope to offer our most sincere condolences and our support in any measures that the city, the district, the community plans to take to ensure the safety of our children, to prevent any further losses. This is any parent's worst nightmare, my own included. And so for the parents of Aiden and Ronell, we extend and we share in your grief for your children. We extend our support and our condolences to the teachers as well. Our teachers get to know our kids in a level that sometimes we as parents don't get to see our kids. They become just as important supports in their lives as we do. And so we appreciate the support that AESD provides to the teachers, to the staff, to the students as they get through this as well. So on the behalf of Assemblymember Juan Carrillo, thank you very much for the work that you're doing to support our kids, our families, our teachers and staff. And we stand with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, that concludes our comments this evening for open session.
Moving on to section 12, adoption of the minutes. 12.01, trustees, can I get a motion to approve board minutes from the regular board meeting of September the 12th, 2023?
Trustee Soto, I move that we approve.
Webster, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Soto, I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I. Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to section 13, consent agenda. We're taking items 13.01 through 13.40, with the exception of 13.23. Does any trustee want to pull an item?
Benz, I'd like 13.40 pulled.
Thirteen point four zero. The trustee like to pull another one? I would like to pull 13.21. 13.22. And 13.27. Hearing none? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda
Webster, I motion to approve the rest of the,
with the exception of 13.2?
with the exception of 13.21 through 13.23, 13.27, and 13.40.
Benz, I second.
Yes. That was Ben second and
It was
Web-
trustee Webster and second by trustee Benz.
Mrs. Wade, would you please take the vote?
Trustee Soto,
Soto, I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I. Motion passed 5-0. Can I get a motion to approve 13.21?
Webster, I motion to approve 13.21.
Benz, I second.
We're now open for discussion. Mr. Kraus, can you give us a little background on 13.21, please?
Yes, Madam President, I am excited to bring this before you this evening. In fact, in the audience, we have Mr. Brian Hahn, Mr. Hahn, would you just mind coming up to the podium for a brief moment to speak about your ESL program? Mr. Hahn has been working with several people in our community, and the need has arisen to expand the number of licenses that are needed for the work that he's doing. So, Mr. Hahn, if you would just take a brief moment to brag a little bit on the work that's going on.
Yes, yes, yes.
And the parents keep coming and coming and coming, and they have been consistent. They've been coming to classes. They know that they have to be there in order to have access to their Rosetta Stone. And and we also incorporate that into the classes as well. Some of the work they're doing, I have full access to be able to check how they do in their private time, to see the progress they're making separately, and then reviewing things with them in class as well. So I think I want to say that this is an exceptional value for your money, to really help help our parents, help our community members. They bring their children. We have babysitting for them. They're excited. They're able to come to class. They're able to learn. And truly, they're excited about learning English. And they're very grateful to all of you for the opportunity to do this. And so we thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hahn.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you as well. I pulled this item because I know that it is a great asset for our parents and our community to be able to be involved in such a program. So I wanted to say thank you to Mr. Hine. I appreciate it. I had the pleasure of attending one of his classes quite a few years ago. However, now that it has expanded more and more, when I saw it, I was like, this is wonderful. And I wanted to know that, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
As a child of a Mexican immigrant, my mom came here. She learned to speak English, and it's, she was able to open her business with greater ease. When we speak, it's Spanglish, but she tries to practice her English, though she's been here since 68. I'm proud, and I know that to be able to speak the language of the country where you're at, where it's dominant, helps open doors, and it will help parents communicate with teachers, and not, those who only speak English, and not have to look for a leader. So I'm so glad that this is expanding, and thank you.
I too wanted to echo those sentiments. It's amazing to hear that there's actually parents coming in to want to learn English and to take these classes. So the fact that it's growing is amazing. I did want to echo that, my mom did come from a different country, and I think that it's amazing that, people are stepping up to want to learn about this, our culture, and integrate into our society. So I think it's great for our schools, and I think it's great for our community as well. Thank you.
I would like to, I concur with my fellow trustees. Thank you, Mr. Hahn, for what you're doing there, and offering these classes to our English language learner parents. And so if there's anything else that we could do to promote this program, I would like to offer that help to you, because I feel that it's very important that our parents can communicate with our teachers, and our teachers can communicate with the parent without a translator. So thank you so much for all you do and the time that you put into this.
I concur with my fellow trustees. Mr. Hahn, you are a true asset to this district, not just during the day to our students, but a phenomenal teacher to our parents as well. I do want to say thank you for the resource that you provide to this community, as it is one that betters us every day. So thank you so much.
With that being said, Z, please call for the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Soto, I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
La French, I. Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to 13.22. Can I get a motion to approve?
Benz, I motion to approve.
Soto, I second that motion.
Thank you. We're now open for discussion. I pulled 13.22 because I felt that it was something that I wanted for Mr. Kraus to give a little bit of information on. This was something that I felt that was excellent that our district is able to provide to our students.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of the board. We are excited to bring this item before you this evening. I want to thank Dr. Dwyzon and her team for helping to facilitate this item as well this evening. So we have noticed a need with our students and our families during the breaks. We have fall break coming up. We have our winter break in December, our spring break in March, and our summer break in June. And what we've noticed is that many of our families would like extra things for their students to do other than sitting at home or doing something on the streets or out in the playgrounds. And so we are able to provide, we can serve students in TK through 8th grade at every location that we have. So we're looking at Braddock, Eagle Ranch, Ted Vick, West Creek, and Westside Park. We're starting out small to test it out to see how it works and then possibly expand it in the future years. But we will have academic enrichment in English and math. We will have science, technology, engineering, and math courses as well, sports, gardening, arts and crafts, and other hands-on activities that will give students an additional learning experience during the time that our staff are taking a well-deserved rest and relaxation, but give families an opportunity for their students to get some more enrichment throughout the year. And so, again, we are very excited to be able to offer this. And again, thank you to Dr. Dwyzon and her team, and then the board for considering this item before you this evening.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I always look now. I do want to say that as a single mom who has to work, what to have someplace for your kids to go where it is constructive and not just at home or someplace where, you know, sometimes some sitters, they really don't do it well. This is good. It's like playing school. We've seen in some summer school, the kids sometimes don't like to come to school, but they love to play school. So it gives them a place to go. And as a former, as we were known back in the days, latchkey kids, where we had to go home and there was no adult home by the time I was in second grade. We have someplace safe to go. The kids have someplace safe to go and still have a constructive and positive place to go. And I think this is an excellent idea. Thank you.
Hearing.
And I concur with trustee Benz, and I'm happy that we're able to offer that program, you know, for our students after school. My kids were in after school program, a latchkey. You know, we didn't have anything like this for them. And so I feel that it's very important, and, you know, and I think that the parents feel safe, you know, knowing that we're providing this for their children. So thank you for bringing this to us.
Thank you. Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Soto, I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
La French, Aye. Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to 13.27. Can I get a motion to approve?
Benz, I motion to, approve.
Webster, I second.
We're now open for discussion. I also pulled this item. It's probably the most items I pulled since I've been president. I pulled this item because I wanted for Mr. Kraus to talk about this as well. It's very important.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of the board, members of the community with us this evening. Before you this evening is an item to bring again active shooter training, live active shooter training with real instructors on site for our staff to be able to attend and get some more education on what to do in the event that there's an active shooter on a site. And so we did offer this last year. We're offering it again this year. Hopefully people that didn't get a chance last year will be able to do it again this year. And we hope to continue to do this because it's so vital to have our staff very well trained in the event that something, God forbid, should this ever happen. But if it does, train our staff in what to do in the event of an emergency like this. And so one of the things, Knowledge Saves Lives have been instrumental in working with districts all across the state and helping to train their management, classified staff, certificated staff on active shooter training. And we also hope to be able to work with our local law enforcement as well and invite them out when we do this active shooter training. So they also are a part of what it is that we have going on, because in the event that we call 911, our local sheriff's department would be the ones to respond as quick as possible as well. So again, very vital that our staff are very well trained in active shooter training. And I appreciate the board's consideration of this item this evening.
Thank you for that information. Any further discussion?
I would like to say that I was able to go to the last active shooter training, and you may think, oh my gosh, it's 4 hours. It goes by really fast. The instructors are knowledgeable. They keep things interesting. You break up in groups, you go into some scenarios, but it really, the knowledge you gain helps you go back to your school site and think, what could I do? What's my, what could I do if? And not that you live in fear, but that you're more pre-prepared and you are more confident. If you were not able to go to the last one, I strongly suggest, try this. And the instructors, they're funny, they're engaging, they are open to questions. And it's one of the best trainings I have gone to.
I also attended the active shooter training, and I didn't know what to expect when I got there, but I concur with Trustee Benz. It was an experience that was totally needed. We want to protect our staff and we want to protect our students against active shooter. 20 years ago, we never heard of anything like this before happening in our schools, and we have to be prepared. I learned a lot of things that day. I noticed that if our camera systems were working the way that they should be working, then we can identify a intruder entering our campus, where everyone can, have the same information on their phones. They can identify a person that's on our campus that should not be on our campus, and we can take immediate action. I'm happy that we're offering this to our staff, but I also would like our students to participate as well, because they also need to be trained in active shooter. And so they won't panic when something, hopefully, and I pray that we never have to utilize this, but I would like us to be proactive rather than reactive, because reactive, you just in a ball of confusion. And again, thank you for bringing this to us. And again, it's something that we all need, and to prepare ourselves for what if. And so thank you for bringing this, and I will participate in it again just for my comfort and awareness of what's going on. So thank you.
No further discussion. Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I motion pass 5-0. Moving on to section 13.40. Classified personnel, approval of volunteers.
Benz, I, well, no, I can't. I can't do anything
Okay.
with this one. Yeah. Yes, I pulled it, but I can't.
I motion that we approve. That we approve the volunteers. That list.
And a second. How's that
Can
work?
someone else second this? Because I want to comment on it.
I second.
Okay. We're in discussion.
We are in discussion.
Okay, as a trustee, I don't feel that we have to volunteer to be in our school system. We should be able to attend any function. We should be able to attend if we want to go on any field trip. We should be able to do that. So I don't know where this came from. I've never had to volunteer to do any of these things. So can someone explain to me why trustees have to become a volunteer?
Madam President, members of the board, this evening, in the sake of transparency, we have been taking, if it hadn't happened in the past, it's one of the things that we're looking to do in the future for the sake of transparency. We believe that once they're approved, they don't have to go through the training again. And they are fingerprinted, all our volunteers are fingerprinted, and they're good for in perpetuity. So once any board member, or any administrator, or anyone else is approved at that point, because we have a process that HR follows for all of our volunteers, but I agree that we can relook at the policy related to staff members and volunteering and approvals on board agendas.
Thank you for that explanation, Superintendent Kraus. When I ran for the board, I was fingerprinted. I had to do a TB test. I had to do a tremendous amount of research. So are we duplicating this? We have to be fingerprinted in order to go on site to be around our children when we do site visits. So with that being said, what's the difference?
We believe we're going to change our policy. We believe that we can bring back on October 3rd a revised policy related to volunteers. And once we get that approved, then it will no longer be an issue in the district. So once we do that, but I do agree with you as far as once you're fingerprinted, you don't need to be fingerprinted again. Because the DOJ, Department of Justice, does alert us to anyone that has been fingerprinted in the district to any instance of anything that would trigger a warning to the district. But we are internally updating our policies related to volunteers and should have a draft of that on October 3rd back for the board for consideration.
Well, can we pull this policy? I mean, we can't pull it because our trustees are on this agenda item. But again, I want to reiterate, we walk on campuses at any time. That's something that the public can't do. And we have been fingerprinted and so I just feel that we really need to look at that and not have our trustees having to become volunteers if we want to participate in any activities in the district. We're already volunteering. And that's all I have.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve then? Or is there any other discussion? Oh, okay, okay. Oh, yeah. I second. Okay. Ms. LeVey, can you please take the vote?
Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Abstain.
trustee Turner,
Abstain?
trustee Benz,
You abstain, don't you? Benz?
Well, I have to abstain.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll change my vote. No.
Awesome.
Trustee La French.
Unless we remove the two trustees from this list. Okay, I would like to amend the motion. Who motion? I can't amend. I have a new motion. Can I do that?
Substitute motion?
A subsequent motion?
Yes, you may.
Okay, I have a subsequent motion to remove trustee Webster and trustee Benz from the volunteer list. So the list can be approved.
I second that motion. I second it, yeah.
Ms. LeVey, will you call for the vote, please?
Yes. Trustee Soto,
Soto, I.
trustee Webster,
Abstain.
trustee Turner,
Aye.
trustee Benz,
Abstain.
trustee La French.
Left French, aye. Motion passed. 3-0. 3 and 2 abstain. 3-2. And who what? Wait a minute. Z, help me, please.
Sure. I believe it was a no from trustee Turner. And then we have 2 abstaining, and then that leaves only with the 1 vote, if I'm correct, for ayes. So the motion dies.
No.
No,
No?
trustee Turner
Amended the motion.
amended the motion.
That is correct. So, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I wrote it wrong. So that is a aye from trustee Turner, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, then Webster abstains. And then Turner said yes. Benz abstains. And La French? You're an
Yes.
aye. Did I get Soto?
Soto's an aye too.
Okay, so we have 3-2.
3 ayes and 2 abstentions.
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Moving on to section 15, policy introductions, updates and readings. 15.01. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt and approve the first read of board policy 6173, education for homeless children.
Webster, I move to adopt and approve the first read.
Benz, I second.
We're open for discussion. Hearing no discussion, Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Soto, I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Left French, I. Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to 515.02. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt and approve the first read of Administrative Regulation 6173, education for homeless children.
Webster, I move to adopt and approve the first read of 6173.
Trustee Turner, I second.
We're open for discussion. Hearing none. Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Soto, I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
La French, I. Motion passed 5-0. 15.03. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt and approve the first read of Board Policy 6173.1, education for foster youth.
Webster, I move to adopt and approve the first read of Board Policy 6173.1.
Benz, I second.
We're open for discussion. Hearing none, Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Soto, yes.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I motion passed 5-0. 15.04. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt and approve the first read of Administrative Regulation 6173.1, Education for Foster Youth.
Webster, I move to adopt and approve the first read of AR 6173.1.
Turner, I second.
We're open for discussion.
I do have one thing to say. It's for all of them. The fact that we have such a high homeless and foster youth population. I'm glad that this has been brought so that we have a process and that hope, our kids will be better served. I hate that we have to have it, but it's good that we're there and they're not just slipping through the cracks. So thank you.
I agree, Madam President. Very important policy. I'm glad we have it here. Thank you.
No further discussion. Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Soto, I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee Love French.
Love French, I motion passed 5-0. Moving on to section 16, governing board members' reports and announcements. 16.01. Would anyone like to report out or have any announcements?
I guess I just want to say this is our chance to speak to the public and the district has been affected greatly, our kids and our staff. I really want our community to please start to be a good example. The laws are there for a reason. The rules of the road are there for a reason. We drive through these streets because there aren't a lot of stop signs. It doesn't mean that you can speed through. If you're late, leave earlier. We should be respectful of the kids. When school starts, when school ends, when they're walking home, when they're walking to school. Everybody drives through not even thinking about those around them. And I just want us to please, first thing, slow down. Be respectful of our kids. The stop signs, those aren't a suggestion. Just because there isn't a sheriff's there watching you to give you a ticket does not mean that it's okay to drive the way you want. So let's please set the example for ourselves, for our family, for our kids. Let's try to turn this tragedy and so that it never happens in our community again. The price is too great to make a mistake. Our kids are too precious. So let's please be mindful when you drive. And that's all I have. Thank you.
On behalf of, this is really hard. Yesterday was really difficult, not just for me, but for everyone that was affected, our teachers, our students, our parents that witnessed it. And I want to thank the parents that came to the rescue of Aiden at that scene. and our bus drivers that try to protect our kids that passed the scene that were riding on the bus. My condolences go out to the Robinson family on the tragedy that happened Sunday morning, for Ronell Thomas and the Hardy family of Aiden Ortiz. There's just no words that I can say that could comfort. My heart is hurting. I concur with Trustee Benz. We need to slow down. Our kids do not have bumpers. And especially that time of the morning, we should expect children to be out on their way to school. And we have to be more mindful of that. And I know that it wasn't intentional, but it's an accident that cannot be reversed. And I just want the family to know that we think about you, and if there's anything that we could do to help, if counseling, please reach out to us. Teachers, reach out to us. Students, reach out to us. And if you need help, cry for help, because we could provide that. I got an email last week on Columbia students put together a video on suicide prevention. And I would love to play that video at one of the board meetings and sometime soon, because I think it's important that our kids, not just at Columbia, but our kids throughout the district need to see that. So if they're thinking of committing suicide or not happy in their life, that they could reach out and talk to someone about it. There's a lot going on with our children these days, and, they need to have an outlet to be able to express how they're feeling and not think that someone will laugh at them. That video was absolutely incredible, and our children put that together. And thank you to the teachers that helped put that video together, because it was mind-blowing. And I would like not just to keep it on the shelf, not just at Columbia, but through our entire district, because it's important that our kids know that they have an outlet. And Miss Barrico, and your daughter, Madison Jackson, we're going to look into that. I mean, it's incredible. You have a straight A student and you have a athlete that want to, be a participant at the school, and not only just do sports, but also cheer. You should not be punished for that. So we're going to look into that. That's important for me. Okay. And so tell her that you came as a mother and you voiced your concern, and we are here. We listen to you. Okay. The LCAP meeting at Mesa Linda, I got there a little late, but I was happy to be there. The LCAP meetings is not just for administrators putting it together, it's for teachers and parents and staff that we want to hear your voice. We want to hear what changes you would like to see, what programs you would like to see, so we can include them in our LCAP. That's our plan for the school year. And your voice is needed. And we would like for you to, if you can't attend in person, jump on the Zoom. And so we can hear your voices. I think that's all I have for tonight. It's been a hard night, and not just for us sitting here, but for you out there and you on Zoom land in our community. I've never faced anything like this, 2 students in a matter of 24 hours. So I'll be praying for the families for peace and comfort. And that's all I have.
I too, Madam President, wanted to make a comment. It's an overwhelming feeling to know that we've lost not just one, but two students within a couple hours. I did just want to extend my condolences to the Ortiz family and to the Thomas family. You know, I'll pray tonight for your comfort and for ease and for healing. And I hope that our community as well can heal as quickly as possible from this tragedy. I will say that I am glad that we are working with the city of Adelanto and the sheriff's department to ensure that this does not happen again, and so that we keep our students safe. We also have to ensure that when we do meet with the city, that we talk about the increase in speed limits. I believe there was a comment made. I recall that the city of Adelanto approved an increase of speed limits. Every year they do a traffic study. And the only reason why they increase it is simply because people decide to drive more quickly. And so simply due to the fact that someone decides to drive 5 or 10 over the speed limit, they recommend to approve it to that high speed limit. And so I think that we should look into that, because that should be a speed limit of 25, not 35 to 40, especially on a bus stop. When I feel these types of overwhelming feelings, I feel that it's important that we turn that feeling into passion and into action. And so that's what we need to do as board members, is to ensure that this does not happen again to any family member. Well, may God bless the families that suffered this tragedy. May God bless you, and may God bless our community. Thank you.
Good evening, AESD family and friends. I do want to start my speech out tonight, once again expressing my gratitude to our 10 and 15 and 20-year employees, and appreciating them for their hard work. Another tidbit I want to touch on today is, once again, we've seen multiple field trips on our agenda for our kids to get out to see new things and try new adventures. I do want to thank our school sites for facilitating this, making sure our students have these opportunities. I do want to take a moment and send my gratitude to district staff, Mr. Kraus, Dr. Dwyzon, for your rapid response to the tragic events that occurred yesterday and this last weekend. I do want to say thank you for getting our response teams in place, getting counselors to the accessibility of our students and staff. I know that shocked our community beyond words. So having that response on site as fast as we got them there, I do thank you again. And then I do want to take a quick moment, and I want to extend my condolences to the families that have lost their angels. I want to say thank you for sharing them with our district, with our teachers, with our staffs, and with our students. Every parent's worst fear came real yesterday. And there's 2 mamas in this district who will not be okay. I do want to send my prayers and my blessings to these moms and let them know that we are here for them as well. So I do ask all of us moms and dads to hang on to these babies just a little bit tighter, appreciate them just a little bit more, because we are not promised tomorrow, ever. And I think these events really highlight the truth and reality of that statement. So thank you all, and I hope all drive safe tonight. and has a good night.
Okay, I want to say, the loss of a child is indescribable. Couldn't measure such pain. Yesterday, after receiving the news of two of our families, I could not catch my breath because I just couldn't understand how, as a parent, that you send your child to school and your child doesn't come home. I can't emphasize enough on what Trustee Ben said about driving. You have to look out for our little ones. They're just trying to get to school. Driving with excessive speeds, that's not allowing you to see our children. We have to network. We have to be out there. We need volunteers. We need people that are able to oversee some of our streets, like encourage, stay inside the crosswalk, stay on the crosswalk. We as parents can, talk to them as they're going down the street. Let people know that they're going too fast down our streets. We would love to have a crossing guard at every single corner. We would love to have police at every single corner, but we don't have that. Sometimes we have to go out and we have to, be diligent and do our part and see what we can do in order to help them. For the families, your precious little angels, we thank you for sharing them with us, their smiles. I can't say, I can't say it. I can't say that. Your precious angels touched us. It made everyone's awareness yesterday of just how short life is. And in a split second, all of our lives changed. I want you to know that Aiden and Renal has been in my prayers, and you have been in my prayers yesterday, today, tomorrow. I will be praying for you. If you need anything, please reach out to us. And we want to thank you, and we're grieving along with you. Moving on to section 17. Adjournment. Trustees, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Ben's I motion to adjourn.
So do I second that motion.
Mrs. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Ben's I.
trustee La French.
Left French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. The time is 8:55. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Drive safe.